I'm Casey Claiborne, and thanks for watching this CrimeWatch YouTube exclusive, where we take a look back at recent crime stories that have been making headlines in our area and across the state. A Pflugerville man is charged with impersonating an Austin police officer. The real police now want to know who has had any contact with Sean Michael McDonald when he was allegedly claiming to be a cop. Fox 7 Austin's Rudy Koski has the story.
In the Travis County Jail being processed is how Sean Michael McDonald spent Monday night and most of Tuesday. He's charged with impersonating an APD officer. The real cops spent the day reaching out to anyone who had contact with McDonald while in uniform.
Our message to them is simply that we would like to speak to them in reference to those interactions that they had with him, whether that be him just presenting himself in the uniform or him actually taking action.
There is no evidence at this time that McDonald pulled people over to scam or hurt them, but the possibility is something that worries Kevin Lawrence with the Texas Municipal Police Association.
People will impersonate police officers and go out there and commit kidnapping, sexual assault, murder. My biggest fear is for my immediate family, but for our community as a whole as well.
You don't think APD is reacting then by doing this all-call, saying if you've had contact with him, you need to call us?
I think they're doing exactly what they need to be doing. My guess is what we've got here is the tip of the iceberg.
Court documents provide details of what appears to be a long and elaborate hoax. It ended when investigators were tipped off after images of McDonald in uniform were posted on a dating site and other social media platforms. We're told working at ABIA in a store is McDonald's real job.
There was no security, there was no law enforcement type of employment he had at ABIA. Nothing of that nature.
No security risk at ABIA?
No.
McDonald allegedly posted comments about being part of the recent search for a man who shot an AISD police officer and went on a killing spree. Investigators say he posted about the death of APD SWAT team member George Pastor, stating, "Rest easy, brother. We got it from here." He's also accused of taking a picture from a crash involving a real officer in 2019 and saying it was him while helping a stranded motorist. The court documents also show that McDonald even had his own neighbors in Pflugerville believing that he was a cop. Now, uniform stores typically require proof of employment before you can buy anything, but former APD Sergeant Wayne Vincent told me it is really easy to get police gear online.
Any time that someone tries to portray themselves as a law enforcement officer for other than legitimate reasons, it is very offensive to us.
Vincent says if you question who's pulling you over, there are things you can do.
Well, when in doubt, if you're getting pulled over by one single police car that doesn't look right, if you have a cell phone, get on and call 911 to verify before you pull over, or go the speed limit and get to a very public area before you pull over if you have any doubts.
In Austin, Rudy Koski, Fox 7 Austin News.
Former Austin Police Chief Art Acevedo will not be taking a new job with the city after all. Acevedo, who left APD back in 2016, says he's bowing out of an assistant city manager role over criticism about his appointment. The announcement came on the same day where at City Hall, APD leadership formally apologized for its mishandling of certain sexual assault cases. That scandal was a major source of controversy for Acevedo, who said he didn't want to be a, quote, distraction.
I would like to apologize for how your cases were mishandled.
I offer my sincere apology.
Moments before city leaders issued a public apology to sexual assault survivors for APD's mishandling of their cases, a surprising decision from the man who's been widely criticized for those failures. Art Acevedo announcing Tuesday he is backing out of his new job with the city as interim assistant city manager overseeing APD. Quote, "Unfortunately, politics and power struggles have hindered our efforts to create real positive improvements for the people of our city. We cannot afford to blame others and point fingers. That is why I have informed interim city manager Garza that I cannot accept this position." Those words, a stark contrast from Acevedo's confidence on Friday.
So I look forward to building the relationships and building trust. I think I'm good at that.
City leaders avoiding questions on the about face.
I'm not going to respond about any one individual being appointed or not being appointed related to this.
But afterwards, council members were more vocal.
Doesn't surprise me given the controversy that has occurred.
Mackenzie Kelly issuing a memo criticizing how Acevedo was hired.
I believe there should have been more transparency.
But calling his exit a loss for the city.
With his knowledge, skills, abilities, and experience, he could help lead the department in this critical time.
Would you call it political pressure?
I would call it reality.
Allison Alter, who had slammed Acevedo's return to the city payroll, says she's glad he reconsidered.
The seeds for why we had those lawsuits came under Acevedo's leadership. And so to me, that confluence just wasn't something that I could live with.
2 years ago this week, the city paid nearly $900,000 in a settlement to 15 survivors whose cases were mishandled between 2006 and 2019.
It really destroyed my life.
But Heather Sin says an apology means more than money.
It was what I had been waiting for 10 years, to publicly come out and not just acknowledge it, but to say, here's what we're doing.
What they're doing is implementing the collective sex crimes response model, a victim-centered approach to investigations.
The team is reviewing and assessing everything from policies and training to response and investigation practices.
The work is not done.
I believe them now. I believe them that they're actually trying to change things.
That was Fox 7 Austin's John Krinjak reporting. City leaders say they hope the department's revamped approach to investigating sex crimes serves as a model for the rest of the country. Meanwhile, fentanyl is the reason for a 20-year-old's death in Travis County. Investigators arrested a suspected car thief who turned out to be the suspected dealer. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has more.
It was quite a fright on New Year's Day. A woman had just arrived for her shift at a grocery store in Southeast Austin when a man went up to her with a bag that seemed to have a gun inside and the man's hand on the gun while he demanded her car keys. The victim says she was scared for her life and gave them to him. He took off. That evening, the vehicle was found in Kyle, near where 20-year-old Jose Alexander Cruz lives. He matched the description of the suspect from the robbery that morning. And Hays County Sheriff's deputies say he looked familiar. They had been watching him for a while. About 2 years ago, a 20-year-old was found dead in Travis County. The cause? Fentanyl poisoning.
A very similar story, and a similar story to so many lives across the state of Texas.
Stephanie Turner's son, 19-year-old Tucker, died from a fentanyl poisoning in September 2021. She's made it her mission to educate others about the dangers of this poison.
Through education, we can empower parents and students to make better decisions and not find themselves in that situation of addiction.
We're trying to get into the high schools and tell people, hey, this is serious and it's dangerous.
Assistant U.S. Attorney Mark Marshall is the deterrent prosecuting the dealers.
If I can prove the pill they sold somebody killed them, they're going to go to the federal penitentiary.
That's what Cruz now faces, as messages between he and the victim reveal Cruz was the one who sold the 20-year-old the drugs with fentanyl in them that killed him.
We can find them.
And working together, the Hays County Sheriff's Office, Austin PD, Kyle PD, and San Marcos PD did and arrested Cruz on 7 different felonies.
There are people losing their lives to fentanyl poisoning, but there's also those who are losing their life to incarceration as a result of dealing the poison.
And she says, unfortunately, fentanyl is still out there.
One dealer is just one dealer. There are plenty more that will fill that gap, and that does not stop the supply of drugs.
Travis County is leading the state in fentanyl overdoses. Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch.
Austin police shot and wounded a man who they say stabbed 3 people while holding them hostage in their home. It happened on Udemer Lane between Palmer and Yeager in North Austin. One of the women who was stabbed has died. Here's Fox 7 Austin's Jessica Rivera with the latest.
Austin police received 911 calls around 12:30 Sunday morning at 12310 Udemer Lane at a North Austin home. The caller tells dispatch he's been stabbed in the stomach and was bleeding. The caller also tells dispatch the suspect is still inside the home holding a knife with a female victim inside.
At approximately 12:36 a.m.,
3 Austin police officers driving marked police units and wearing distinct APD uniforms arrived on scene. The officers located a group of people standing outside the residence and began to gather information.
Seeing that the victims need medical assistance, officers made entry to the home. That's when they noticed the suspect holding the female victim with a knife. She also suffered from stabbing wounds.
To protect the life of that victim, the officers discharged their department-approved firearms, striking the male suspect. At approximately 12:38 a.m., shots fired was announced over the police radio.
The female victim was not injured in this exchange. Officers were able to escort her out of the home. Officers then located 3 children in the home and another female victim who was also stabbed.
Officers attempted to render life-saving measures to the female, but at approximately 1:06 a.m., unfortunately, she was pronounced deceased.
The suspect and the 2 other victims were transported to the hospital where they will be treated for their injuries. At this time, police are not sure of the suspect's relationship with the victims.
The officer-involved incident was captured on the officer's body-worn camera, and per APD policy, the APD video related to this incident will be released within 10 business days.
3 officers discharged their weapons in this incident. All 3 will be placed on administrative duty as per APD policy. There will be 2 concurrent investigations, a criminal one with APD's Special Investigation Unit and the Travis County District Attorney's Office, and an administrative one with APD's Internal Affairs Unit and the Office of Police Oversight. Anyone with information on this incident can report it at austincrimestoppers.org. In North Austin, I'm Jessica Rivera, Fox 7 Austin News.
Capital Metro is adding security guards to some of the major bus stops and transit centers in Austin. The transit agency says this is an effort to improve safety. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis spoke with people at the bus stop who didn't want to be on camera and said there's an incident on a bus every day.
These will be eyes in the field for us.
Unarmed, contracted security guards. At Republic Square Park, the South Congress and North Lamar Transit Centers, and the Tech Ridge Park and Ride, as these are the spots that apparently need extra help, as riders and employees express their concerns.
We are trying to enhance and grow our ridership, and we feel like this may be just another tool in a toolbox to get that to happen.
A year ago, a Cap Metro bus driver was shot in Southeast Austin by what the transit agency believes was a stray bullet. And then in April, a person was stabbed on a Cap Metro bus in downtown Austin. Currently, Cap Metro has intervention specialists and public safety ambassadors. The transit agency says the ambassadors are usually riding the buses, so the security guards will be at the bus stops.
We want to start at least with a handful and see if we need to expand.
Cap Metro says they'll evaluate after about 6 months.
Gives us the ability to take the data we already have about incidents on the system, gather more data because we'll have more eyes out there to tell us what's going on at these hours that we don't currently have staff out there, and then be able to, thoughtfully move on from there.
Officials say these security guards aren't replacing the transit police department that's in the works. Cap Metro says the police force of about 12 officers is expected to be operational in 2025. Well, you might recall this story we told you about. The dead Longhorn dumped outside of an Oklahoma State University fraternity back in December. Police have arrested and charged 4 people in the case. Fox 7 Austin's Lauren Rangel has the latest.
Photos of a dead Longhorn outside an Oklahoma State fraternity shocked Longhorn Nation in December.
And to take our mascot and do that, that's just really ridiculous.
The Longhorn had an expletive branded on its side, directed at OSU's farmhouse frat.
It was so sad to see the videos posted online of the dead Longhorn just being dragged and pulled, and it was just very disheartening.
Police arrested Bennett Fady, Luke Ackerley, Brody Shelby, and Andrew King on Wednesday. All of them members of another fraternity at OSU called Alpha Gamma Rho. The Longhorn was found the day before UT and OSU faced off on the field, prompting concern from some UT students.
I don't really understand why you have to bring animal cruelty into it. It's just a football game.
An arrest warrant affidavit says it may have actually been part of a prank war between the two fraternities. According to the documents, Bennett Fady discussed dumping the Longhorn's body on the farmhouse lawn with other fraternity members who discouraged it. And surveillance video from the fraternity shows a gap in footage around the time of the incident. Police even noting there was a significant amount of collective lack of cooperation from the Alpha Gamma Rho organization as it is related to the investigation into the incident. All 4 men are charged with a misdemeanor for unlawfully removing or disposing a carcass. Investigators believe the Longhorn died from a disease before it ended up on the lawn of a fraternity.
All 4 people involved have pleaded not guilty. Oklahoma State is holding an internal investigation. They say will take appropriate action based on that.
In December of 2001, 19-year-old Rachel Cook came home from college for winter break to visit her family in Georgetown, Texas.
Rachel was a very vivacious, not afraid to try new things kind of girl.
Rachel was a freshman at San Diego Mesa College in California, where she was wanting to pursue a career in fashion.
She loved fashion, she loved her friends, and she loved life.
During her time in California, she had met someone. His name was Greg West.
She was a jokester and hilarious, and she was always on, if I could just say it like that. She just had this insane amount of energy that was just, captivating for sure.
Even though the two hadn't been dating long, Rachel wanted Greg to meet her family for Christmas.
I had never really celebrated Christmas before, and so I helped build their fake plastic tree and do all this really Christmassy things. It was awesome, and it's just it's just a beautiful memory.
After Christmas, the two rang in the new year with Rachel's family.
I was here for Christmas, and then I stayed a few more days so we could celebrate New Year's together. It was magical. We're on 6th Street, and she's not all of 19 and can't even drink. So it was just kind of fun to kind of witness all of that crazy nonsense down there.
Greg then headed back to San Diego, and Rachel stayed behind for her cousin's upcoming wedding.
We were moving in together, and then things were just, they're perfect.
Unfortunately, that would never happen for Rachel and Greg because Rachel disappeared on January 10th, 2002.
Rachel went for a long-distance run at approximately 9:30 in the morning, and her neighbor last saw her about 200 yards from her home here on Navajo Trail.
She had been a member of the Georgetown track team, so she had a particular route that she ran in her parents' neighborhood, which was the North Lake subdivision, which is off of FM 3405 in Georgetown. Several neighbors saw her that morning as she was on her jog. The last neighbor to see her saw her about 200 yards from her parents' house.
Right.
She was walking kind of like she was on her cool down, about ready to go home. And that was the last time anybody saw Rachel Cook.
To this day, detectives continue to search for Rachel.
We feel confident that somebody out there knows something about what happened to Rachel. And it's either somebody who heard something, saw something, maybe they didn't think it was germane at the time, didn't think it was important, but we need them to call us and let us know what's going on, because this is one of the most notorious cases in the county, and we're coming up on the 22nd anniversary.
Throughout the years, there have been talks about people and even cars that were seen in the area. Police were able to locate a white Trans Am that piqued their interest, but they were unable to find any evidence that linked to Rachel.
We definitely suspect foul play in this case. She had no reason to leave.
Today, Rachel would be 41 years old.
I just want to say thank you to everyone who's continuing to talk about her, talk about the story, and really just keep her name and her memory out there alive. We love you.
Many miss Rachel dearly, and her mother has a message for whoever knows what happened to her daughter.
What's done is done. We can't change that. The damage psychologically for my family can't be brought back. But I can go on with the truth, and whoever did it, maybe the truth and coming out would make a difference in their life. I would like, when it's my time to go, I know I'll get the answers from God. But I'd like to be able to go to my other daughter, grab her, hug her, and say, this is what happened.
Rachel was last seen wearing gray shorts, a green sports bra, and Asics running shoes. She also had a yellow Walkman that she used to listen to music while she ran. Today, Rachel would be 41 years old. If you have any information about the disappearance of Rachel Cook, call the Williamson County Sheriff's Office at 512-943-5204. You can also contact Williamson County Crime Stoppers, which has a cash reward for information that leads to an arrest. That number is 1-800-253-7867, or you can go online to wilcocrimestoppers.org. Thanks for watching the Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch YouTube exclusive. Our Crime Watch stories run each Monday on Fox 7 Austin News at 9. If you miss them, you can watch anytime on our new Fox Local Connected TV app. It's free to download, and you can watch on Roku, Android TV, Apple TV, and Fire TV, now Vizio and Samsung. For more on the stories highlighted in this episode, you can head to our website, fox7austin.com, and don't forget to subscribe to the Fox 7 Austin YouTube channel.